Today I'm making a recipe with you that I haven't made in a very long time. I kept thinking I'll make it again, I'll make it again, I'll make it again, but there was never a chance. And I was really sorry I couldn't show it to you again because in its simplicity it's delicious. I'm talking about pasta with sausage, saffron and rosemary. Simple. Just 3 ingredients, rosemary, saffron, and then there's only the sausage, which is really the main ingredient. But believe me, this pasta is really exquisite. Make it with me, let's get started. So first of all, I cut the garlic cloves in half. I remove the core. Then I finely chop them. It makes me smile because you often ask me, why do I sometimes remove the core and other times I don't? It's very simple. When I have to eat the cloves, then I almost always remove the core unless I forget. That's why I say almost always. But when the garlic cloves are only used to add flavor to the dishes and then removed, so not crushed, not chopped, not cut, at that point it's really pointless to remove it from my point of view. And then of course there are people who think differently. Perfect. Now I'm removing the rosemary needles from the stems. The stems are woody, you shouldn't eat them. It's not like you take the stem from the plant and chop it up as it is. Always be careful. I finely chop them, then set them aside. Now I remove the casings from the sausages. And finally chop them. You need to spend a bit of time on it if you want it really small. Then it goes into the cooking. At first it will look like a single piece of meat. Then, if you spend a few minutes cutting it, you'll notice that as it cooks, the pieces will gradually separate and look nice. Very small pieces, here we go. Now I put some extra virgin olive oil in the pan and add the sausage. Careful, I tell you this in almost every recipe. Always do this operation with the back of the knife, always without pressing too hard, unless you want to eat the wood or plastic from the cutting board. Then I tidy up a bit and cook over high heat for 4 or 5 minutes, stirring often. In the meantime, since the water is boiling, I add salt and put the pasta in to cook. Since the sausage is almost ready, I lower the heat a bit, add the garlic, which I obviously didn't add before, otherwise it would have burned, and keep it on a very, very, very low flame. I let it cook for a few moments until the pasta is done cooking. Very well, now 2 minutes before the pasta is done cooking, I add it to the sausage. I arrange it a bit. Then in a ladle of pasta cooking water, I put the saffron threads and mix a bit. If you want, you can also do this by putting the saffron water in a cup or a glass. I pour it into the pasta. And I finish cooking, stirring and tossing and adding more water only if necessary. Perfect, we're done. The pasta is al dente, so I turn off the heat, add the rosemary, then add the Parmesan cheese and give it a good stir. And plate it. Let's see. Mamma mia, make it and let me know what you think in the comments below. For now, I'll say goodbye. And as usual, before I leave you, I want to wish you a good meal.